Hello, everyone, and welcome to Drag King Reacts. Got a new mic, got a new camera. We're gonna give them a shot. And because we've got new stuff, we're gonna try something new too. Today, we're gonna do Reddit reads. I'll be reading from Am I Overreacting? I'll read 3 stories and a few comments and share my thoughts. I haven't fully read these stories. Mostly the title caught my attention, and I skimmed through them. Um, and then I skimmed through the comments just to make sure there's not too many fake claims, because there's one in here that does have a fake claim, but I'm not so sure it's fake. We're gonna read it anyways, whether it is or not. Um, and then yeah, uh, new stuff. We're gonna see how it goes and just vibe. So let's get started. Our first story is Am I overreacting for getting upset after my friend threw away my ugly breast milk in front of everyone? So I, 27F, just had my first baby 3 months ago. I've been exclusively pumping because latching didn't work out and it's been tough, but I'm doing it. Last weekend, I went to a friend's house for a girls' night. Baby stayed with my husband, but I brought my pump and a small cooler to store milk. I mentioned it ahead of time, and she said it was fine. At some point, I went to the kitchen to put a fresh bottle in the cooler and found it open and empty. I asked her what happened, and she laughed and said, "Oh, I tossed it. I thought it was some gross food or something. It looked nasty, girl." I was stunned. I explained that that was my pumped milk, and she looked horrified, but also laughed again and said, "Ew, okay, but like, can you not keep that stuff around the food?" And I was trying not to cry. That was over 10 ounces of milk that I worked so hard to get. I left early and haven't answered her texts since. Our mutual friends think I'm overreacting, and she says she just didn't know. But I told her, and that milk is for my baby. So, am I the asshole? Or not am I the asshole? Am I overreacting? Wrong subreddit. I enjoy both. Wrong subreddit. I can read acronyms, I promise. So, my thoughts on this is no. I personally don't have kids. I've never done that stuff. My mother breastfed, and so she would pump on occasion if she was going to be away for the night. And my best friend tried to pump and breastfeed when she could, and it can be hard. You can't always lactate enough, produce enough milk um, to feed the baby at one time. So pumping is a very good tool to be able to gain more of that milk over time. And to gain 10 ounces, if you're having any sort of troubles whatsoever, to gain 10 ounces of milk is a lot of milk. So now we'll read a few of the comments. And in the comments, Bloat90 says, "Not overreacting. Infuriating shit your friend pulled on you. Your friends are immature and need to realize what a personal insult is this was against your child and you. Your friend treated the best food on this planet your body has produced for your child like trash. She narcissistically interfered with your care of your innocent child and even childishly latched out at you because she cannot admit wrongdoing. Honey, you got all the right in the world to be pissed, and don't let these hags belittle you over this. Sorry they are so selfish." Because this was in front of a bunch of friends, I agreed that they're probably also talking shit. Uh, but yeah, no, breast milk is the best thing for a baby. Not that formula is bad. Formula is fine. I was mostly formula fed because my mother had a postpartum depression really bad with me. Like she had trouble holding me, and my mother has other issues as well. Um, so she was just like, uh, "It's an alien. I can't do this." So my dad and nurses mostly fed me when I was like bitty baby. Um, so I was mostly formula fed with some breast milk from pumping mostly, and it's not bad. It's very good. Fed is best. It doesn't matter if it's breast milk, if it's donor breast milk or your breast milk, or if it's formula, any kind of formula, fed is best. Whatever your baby will eat and whatever you can give them is the best thing for them. Selena Chaos says not the that says not the asshole, which is not what this subject is. Your friend is an idiot. For her to be so callous as to call your milk gross when it's something she knows you feed your baby is cruel. Second, it wasn't stored with the food. It was in a sealed container within a closed cooler, and you had brought. She knew you had brought it and what it was for. It wasn't a mistake, and I agree with that. I don't think this was a mistake. Third, 10 ounces is not just one meal for a 3-month-old, and it's not so easily replaceable for some. I applaud the women who are able to produce large amounts, but it's not all that common. I truly hope your friend has to pump one day so she can understand the gravity of what she just did. And finally, even if you were overreaction, which you're not, I haven't made that clear. So freaking what? You're still dealing with the effects of having a child. The extra hormones necessary for you to even be able to produce, possibly, possible, sorry, that word is misspelled. Possibly still recovering from the process of giving birth and adapting a to a new body. And yeah, let's not forget your baby either just got onto a regular sleep schedule and you're still not there yet. Either way, I'm sure you're exhausted too. I made an effort to make time for this so called friend. The least she could do was have some freaking empathy instead of insulting you not once, but twice. Destroyed the food meant for your baby and didn't even bother to apologize or take accountability. You deserve better friends, OP. Sunrises underscore a red star says throwing away 10 ounces of pumped milk is egregious. Laughing about it and calling it gross rather than being horrified at her error means it wasn't a mistake. This would likely end my friendship with anyone in the group saying I was overreacting if I were in your shoes. If they think that, let's see them whip up 10 ounces of lactated milk on the spot to replace it. Obviously, not gonna happen. Story 2. Am I overreacting for getting weirded out when my mother-in-law asked to wet nurse my newborn? Um, no. Let's find out the story, but probably not. This one is the one with the fake claim in the comments. I'm not going to read it. It was basically the fake claim was just this doesn't happen. This is probably made up by a man and written by a bot. Um, however, I do know some people are nuts. Um, and also some people uh d- don't see problems with and there's nothing wrong with using a wet nurse. Don't see any issues with asking overly personal questions or inappropriate questions on topics that no need to come up. So I will not be surprised if this is real. I don't think it's fake. It's written in a way that I don't think it's fake. But just letting you guys know, someone did try to say that this one was fake, and LP was like, if that's what you want to believe. So, am I overreacting for getting weirded out when my mother-in-law asked to wet nurse my newborn? And if you don't know what wet nursing is, it's when the wet nurse uh, is just another person who lactates. They pump or breastfeed for the baby. This is not as common today, obviously, but uh, long time ago, back before formula and stuff, it was more common um, that when women couldn't make enough breast milk, they would have a wet nurse come in who would then feed that baby. And normally, a wet nurse is someone who just overproduces and they just keep producing because they keep feeding more and more babies. So they can produce for quite a long time. So this happened 2 nights ago, and I still don't really know how to process it. I gave birth to my daughter 5 days ago. First time mom, still healing, emotional. My mother-in-law, 62F, is a lot. She's always been kind of boundary pushy, but never anything like this. She came to visit and hold the baby, which was fine, until she asked, very seriously, if she could try wet nursing her. I laughed, thinking she was joking, but she wasn't. She said she breastfed 5 kids and still remembers how, and that grandmother's milk is spiritually nourishing. I was like, what? She even mentioned looking into relactation. Ow. My fist's catching up with me. Oh, God. I laughed, thinking she was joking. She wasn't. She said she breastfed 5 kids and still remembers how, and that a grandmother's milk is spiritually nourishing. And I was like, what? She even mentioned looking into relactation. I told her no, firmly, but she seemed hurt and said I was withholding ancient female connection. Now my husband is saying I embarrassed her and I'm being judgmental. I feel incredibly creeped out and violated, but I'm starting to question myself. Am I overreacting? I don't think so. Obviously, I've shared some of my thoughts because I shared them right after the title. Um, but no, I don't think so. Also, if you don't need a wet nurse, then you don't need a wet nurse. And so far, you haven't said anything about um, needing one. And also, you can formula feed, which would be fine too, because formula is just as good for babies as any wet nurse or breast milk would be. Um, there's the argument that breast milk can change, uh, um, can change to adapt to bodies what the baby's body needs, uh, and that is direct latching. That doesn't count if that's not true. If there's multiple babies with a wet nurse, or if there's uh, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Pumping. If you're pumping breast milk, that won't happen because it's through direct saliva that your body is told what the baby would need. But in the comments, Honeybee 3674 says, not overreacting. I breastfed 4 kids, including extended and tandem nursing. This person may have been a wet nurse or just have 4 kids. And extended nursing is just nursing a little bit longer than expected. Um, so even once they've like started eating baby food or solid foods, they may still be having breast milk as well, which I find a little weird. And your kids should definitely be off breast milk long before they go to school. I breastfed 4 kids, including extended and in tandem nursing. I was really crunchy, a crunchy mom, and I had a lot of friends who nursed one another's babies for convenience, with permission, of course. If someone was babysitting, and I don't view it as a big deal. I could probably relactate if I ever had to in an apocalypse or natural disaster or something to save a baby's life. It probably wouldn't take long since my body was doing it for 10.5 years straight. So what I'm saying is I don't find anything about wet nursing in general or breastfeeding to be icky. And neither do I. It's very normal. It's something that female bodies are made to do. It just is something. Um, Wet nursing, not gross. And clearly, this is a close knit group who just wet nursed each other's children while babysitting. But Honeybee goes on to say, but I can never imagine the audacity of asking a DIL or daughter-in-law or daughter if I could nurse a grandchild to or relactate just because I have some nostalgia and want to relive my glory days or something. Something that is way, way, way over the boundary line. I absolutely agree with Honeybee. I think they've said it the best that could possibly be said, so I'm not going to read any other comments. Um, but yeah, Wet nursing is not a problem if you need a wet nurse and have access to one. Formula is fine. Fed is best. As I've said in the last story, fed is best no matter how you feed your baby, as long as they are fed and they are full and they are healthy. You're doing great. I promise. But yeah, so that's it for story 2. Uh, and I've already given my thoughts, so I guess there's nothing else left to say. So we'll move on to story 3. On to story 3, arguably the most wild of the stories I possibly will ever read, probably. I've skimmed this one. I haven't fully read it. What I have read is crazy. Also, in the comments I searched and I didn't find any fake claims. Although this is one of those stories, it's like this one's fake, this one's fake. Um, I don't think it is. It's just just crazy enough um to be real. As someone who is a writer, just crazy enough to be a real experience that someone is going through. Um, without being totally made up, because I don't think I could make this one up on my own. Um, it's it's something. Am I overreacting for refusing to my for refusing to go to my sister's rebirth party, I assume. So my sister's always been into weird stuff. Crystals, astrology, raw milk. But last year she took some kind of hallucinogenic frog venom at Burning Man and had a full breakdown and came back calling herself Obsidian Womb Fox. Obsidian Womb Fox. What a name. What a wild name. That's not a joke. She legally changed it from Lindsay? Then to say, I'm sorry. I can't read. I'm dyslexic. This is a wonderful idea, obviously, from Lindsay. Her email signature even says born again, now with more ancestral knowing. Anyway, she's recently sent out wax sealed invitations for her rebirth party, an event she's hosting in our parents' backyard to celebrate the 1 year anniversary of her ego death. The invite was wild. I'm guessing not in the best way, because wild is such a versatile word. The invite was wild. It asked guests to dress in uterine tones, reds and pinks, I assume. In uterine tones, said the party would begin at sunrise or when the hawk signals. A lot of hawks in your area? It would take a while for a hawk to signal, um, if there's not a lot of hawks in your area. And promised a journey through the sacred canal of transformation. I don't like the way that's worded. That sounds weirdly gross. I didn't know what any of that meant, but I figured, hey, it's just one morning. Maybe there's a mimosa or something. Maybe. Might be worth it. Just to see. I would go just to see. Then my cousin sent me the full itinerary she got through a private group chat. I was made up. I was left out because I made a placenta joke once and got the boot. Yeah, I guess. Apparently, the main event involves my sister being reborn from a paper mache uterus, while a fully grown man named Curtis, who she found on Craigslist, pretends to be her womb. Hmm, that's weird. Also, found a guy on Craigslist willing to do this. Um, Craigslist is quite the place. Like, she's literally crawling out of him while he moans and plays a Tibetan singing bowl. Hmm. That is quite the choice, I gotta say. Uh, Tibetan singing bowls pretty cool. Rebirthing ceremonies are weird, I suppose. Um, However, I actually have heard of them before. Not than anyone I know, but like online, I've heard of them before. Um, I've also heard of forced rebirthing in therapy, and that causes trauma. This one, obviously, is not a small child, and she's not doing this in therapy, or it's not even good therapy. It's like, one second, who is it? Well, come on, light up. Spam. What was I saying? I don't remember. I'm just gonna reread the last paragraph and cut this part, I guess. The invite was wild. It asked guests to dress in uterine tones, reds and pinks, I'm guessing. That's not that bad. Said the party would begin at sunrise or when the hawk signals. If there's not a lot of hawks in your area, I'm guessing it's starting at sunrise. And depending on the time of year, that could be quite early. Because I know right now, here, the sun is rising at like 5:30. Like, it's getting bright at like 5:30, and the sun is up at 6. Um, Other places, other times of year, not so much. But right now, real early and getting earlier because, summer is coming. And promised a journey through the sacred canal of transformation. Okay. I didn't know what any of that meant, but I figured, hey, one morning, maybe there's a mimosa or something. I don't know what that means either. Frankly, it's worded a little uncomfortably. Um, but yeah. Then my cousin sent me the full itinerary she got through a private group chat. I was left out of it because I made a placenta joke once and got the boot. Yeah, it seems like it. It seems like the sort of person who would not take the joke. Or, depending on the joke, maybe you deserved it. Maybe it was a bad joke. Apparently, the main event involves my sister being reborn from a paper mache uterus. Interesting. While a fully grown man named Curtis, who she found on Craigslist, pretends to be her womb. Like she's literally crawling out of him while he moans and plays a Tibetan singing bowl. Tibetan singing bowl, kind of cool. The rest of that, I was right to be uncomfy with the way that one sentence was uh worded because this is something. Um, so she found the guy on Craigslist. Craigslist is an absolutely wild hellscape of a place. Uh, I've gotten things off Craigslist. My dad sold things on Craigslist. You could find some real weird people on Craigslist. Um, she must be paying him pretty good, or he must be real weird to be willing to do this. Um, she had to pay me pretty good to pretend to be your womb while you crawl out of a paper mache thing, and I moan. I assume this is in pain, but maybe pleasure. Um, Moan and play an instrument like a Tibetan singing bowl. The finale includes her cutting a red ribbon umbilical cord, screaming, I am rewoven, and then doing a primal dance in a giant inflatable kiddie pool full of coconut oil. Mmm. Why coconut oil? Why not just water? The whole thing's weird. Why not just water though? Why's it gotta be coconut oil? That can't be cheap. That's gotta be like expensive too. Like the guy, you gotta be paying the guy pretty good. Coconut oil, a whole kiddie pool full of coconut oil. Coconut oil's not that expensive, but a whole pool full of it is gonna be like a lot. This is crazy. I told her I was not going. I was respectful about it. Just said, hey, I love you, but I'm not comfortable watching you get fake birthed by a guy in a spandex bodysuit. I agree. I don't think I could do that for my sister either. I love my sisters. I don't think I could do that for either of them. She flipped. She said I was refusing to support her second becoming, and that I still see her as a linear being, and that I'm chained to the masculine lie of the Bulgarian calendar. I think we all are. I don't think that's a choice we get to make, actually. Um, but yeah, uh, I don't know if I could do that either. Um, it would just be a little bit too weird for me. I'm into some weird stuff. Um, I'm a witch, but I don't think I could do that. I don't think I could do that one. Um, yeah. Anyway, we continue. Now my mom's upset. My aunt says I'm being closed-minded, and my uncle is going, but only because there's going to be a taco truck and apparently get a free lapis lazuli bracelet with every birthing. I don't know if that one's a joke or not. So, Reddit, am I overreacting? Because I'm not wanting to attend my adult sister's backyard rebirth where a Craigslist guy acts like her womb? Um, no, I don't think I could do it myself. So I'm not going to say that you're overreacting because I think I would have pretty much the same reaction of it being difficult to uh, do that. Um, Your taco truck might be saving grace. Also, a taco truck for rebirthing is an interesting choice and very thematic. The I can speak English. I'm an English major. I am unable to speak. It's very thematic. The taco truck is very thematic for a rebirthing. Um, and if you don't understand why, I'm not going to tell you because you should. I can also understand why your mom and aunt might be a little bit upset, because you're not supporting your sister who may be going through a hard time right now. Um, but also, again, I don't think I could, so can't really judge you. In the comments, uh, LSRNKB says, as a new age person who has seen, done, and heard all sorts of stuff similar, my first advice is just to shove it under other people's BS religion bucket and go from there. I think that's what I'd have to do too. That's what my parents pretty much do with everything that's not Christianity, um, including like I want to have a hand fasting when I get married, uh, and that's basically it. Um, we're happy with the rings we've got. We're not going to do like wedding rings separate from our engagement rings, and I just want to do a hand fasting, and that's just a ceremony for me with family and friends, or even just friends, because most of my family is moving across state now, so they just won't be anywhere near me. Uh, but I do find my friends to be my family. They all call me dad, so have all them there, and then some of his family and friends, and it would be nice. I'll just have a little picnic and a hand fasting ceremony. But LSRNKB goes on to say, does her ceremony sound like a bunch of mumbo jumbo? No, because mumbo jumbo is a legitimate practice within an established spiritual system. Her ceremony sounds like bullshit. On the other hand, is it any less bullshit than an adult baptism? Not really. I agree. Not really. It's wild. It's certainly out there. And definitely a little bit over the top, but no, not really. If it were me, I would go with my own spiritual beliefs in hand and ask a ton of questions about her new deal. Who knows? Maybe just asking her to sound it out will plant the seed for her to rethink this new path. On the other hand, Maybe her thinking here has some kind of salience, and you could benefit from hearing her out. Who knows? Maybe you could. I don't know if this ceremony is the place for that necessarily, but could have some credence in hearing her out and stuff. What I can tell you definitively is that an ego death, drug induced or otherwise, can dramatically change a person's relationship with the universe. Even knowing that an ego death is possible is on an experiential level really does demand that somebody reanalyze their relationship with existing as an action. On some level, what you're seeing here is a normal reaction to an abnormal experience, and she likely has a few people in her life with the capacity to understand and the will to keep her grounded, which is understandable. If you can't do it, don't take a step back. It's okay. You should strongly consider staying close and playing respectful and curious so that you are available when she inevitably crash lands, because this certainly seems like the person who's going to. This situation is bad from your perspective, but the last thing you want to do is create more opportunities for her to spend all her time and energy with people like me and the Craigslist guy. This is a bit long-winded, so I'll call this my 3 cents, the person who both understands her position and understands your concerns. And thank you, a string of letters that I don't have currently on hand again. Um, for your thoughts, I do agree that it's probably something where she's experiencing something, your sister, and she could use your support, and being there would be good. But also, I still don't think I could do it. Definitely. Def- I wouldn't know until I was actually put in that situation. I may even go and leave early, maybe my choice, um, or arrive a little bit late and just miss the birthing ceremony part, depending on when that is in the itinerary, because we don't have the full itinerary here. Uh, Storm Tomcat says, I feel like you're overreacting a little. Maybe. It's very possible. I feel like it's a slightly justified overreaction, in my opinion, if it is an overreaction, at all. Because just like I don't want to go. I don't think I could either. I don't want to go. It's a little weird to me. I agree. I agree. I agree. So I can't say that you're necessarily overreacting, but I could be too. But anyway, Storm Tomcat says, I feel like you're overreacting a little. The only thing she wants you to do is wear pink, red, or that brown, purpley organ color. You don't have to lick hallucinogenic toads. It doesn't sound like the taco meat is uh awful. Awful? Not the word awful like AW, but like OFF. I don't know what that is. Or blood based. Chris is doing the rebirthing work. Chris. So you don't have to. I think you mean the guy. Was it Chris? Maybe I've just forgotten. But I don't think it was. I don't think the guy's name was Chris. I think it was. I think it was something else. Craigslist guy. What was Craigslist guy's name? Curtis. It's just a misspelling. The auto corrected. Curtis is doing the work, not you. So your whole family will be there. It sounds like your active involvement is limited to applauding nicely once her coconut oil dance is done. Uh, yeah, I can understand that. I don't know if I could do the secondhand embarrassment myself. She's focusing on New Age and shamanist rituals and not on denigrating any other religions or cultural practices, so she's not outright insulting you, or much less targeting your beliefs, which it didn't sound like you saw it that she was. Um, but yeah, I suppose. I still don't know if I could go myself, but yeah, it is interesting. It doesn't sound like my idea of a birthday party, but if my siblings were moving this far into an alternative lifestyle where grifters and sex are so rampant, I wouldn't ditch them at the first uncomfortable bump. This does feel like the sort of thing that could um, bring her into a cult if she feels that she's not being supported. Um, so taking that perspective, um, possibly I would go. Possibly not. It's it would have to be happening to me in person. I don't think you're overreacting for not wanting to go, but also I would go. I would watch the food and drinks or bring your own, um, just in case. Not because I think she would want to poison you or anything, but she feels enlightened. She may want that for you as well. And I wouldn't want to be drugged on purpose or on accident if she just wants to do it again. Um, so I would probably bring just a bottle of water and like a can of soda in my back pocket myself. And then taco truck, they're not going to put anything in your food. It's just a taco truck. I would just make sure that they're like not going to give you food poisoning. Most taco trucks won't. Taco trucks are relatively good at not doing that. But yeah, just check into the taco truck, make sure they're up to snuff, and that'd be it. Thank you all for watching. New camera, new mic, new content. Hopefully we can create more and see where this takes us, and we'll just have some wonderful time together. But this has been Drag King Reacts, and thanks for watching, loves. Bye. So long.